Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Hi, I'm here with Carol Frederick Poenish and with Forshee Crane. We're honoring the Michigammes and also Coach Red Simmons, and hoping that each of you can just give us a bit of your own personal running history, and then maybe just a bit about what Coach Simmons means to you, both as a kid and as an adult.
Mr. Simmons went to the Rome Olympics, as I'm sure you've heard before, and he came back knowing that women's track needed to be pursued in the United States because we just didn't have women runners. So he went around to this local schools, and that's how he found me. He's asked my gym teacher, and I went out and we just trained every day. In the summers we trained twice a day, and it was the most exciting career. You just wanted to beat them so badly, and I would get so nervous before races. I would have I just couldn't eat. Like for the day before, I would just had no appetite at all, and I'd get there and my hands would be sweating and my heart would be pounding, and then somehow the gun would go off and everything would just calm down, and everything that I'd learned, for years or weeks would just kind of fall into place, and every step was calculated, and the strategies of running those curves, everything Mr. Simmons taught us just went right into place, and then. A lot of times coming around that last curve, just pulling right out in front and breaking that ribbon was so fun. And
tell us, Carol, about your most memorable running achievement.
Oh, there was a lot of off-track memories that were just as fun as the on-track memories, but I think some of those national championships were, one was a junior national championship where, Mr. Simmons would rub us down in between races, and he was just so careful about everything that he did. He saw to every little detail that we did, from our shoes to our hair. I mean, it's just wonderful. And then all the camaraderie of running with Ann and everybody else, and wishing that they could be up there with me. I wish everybody could have won, those races too.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
And Forshee Crane, tell us a bit about your early running life, how you came to the Michigammes and what Coach Simmons meant in your life.
I think there's probably, I wrote this in the booklet that Karen asked us to put together, that aside from my parents, there's definitely no person that affected me more. The course of my life, I'm still a runner, my husband's a runner, I work as a running coach. It just basically made me, I think, a self-confident woman. And that was in a day, when we did things that women, girls and women weren't expected to do, and I think that carried over into other parts of our lives. It was just profoundly affected who we are, not just how fast we ran.
Tell us, Ann, a bit about your running achievements. I understand you did quite well in the Detroit Free Press Marathon one year. Just reminisce a bit about that, if you would.
It was actually before it was the Detroit Free Press Marathon. It was the Motor City Marathon. I ran the last year that it was before it was the Free Press Marathon, when it was still 5 laps of Belle Isle. It's a real scenic route. No bridge, no tunnel, just round and round and round. And I was the first woman to break 3 hours in Michigan in that last race. It was 1977.
Congratulations. Hello, I'm Marybeth Dillon Buler. I'm here with Karen McKeachie at her lovely home, where she has organized a wonderful reunion of the Michigammes. They're here from all over the country to honor their former coach, Ken Red Simmons. And Karen, maybe you could just tell us a bit about your athletic life. I know you've got many accomplishments, but perhaps you could just talk about how Coach Simmons got you going, and some of the memories that you'll carry with you regarding the coach and your achievements.
I started running in 1969 because my father saw a picture of one of the runners and Mr. Simmons in the paper and asked if I wanted to do that, and I did. So that's how I met him and got started in running, and he was actually probably a very good coach for me because I wasn't very good in the beginning, and he encouraged me all the time and never discouraged me at all. And so I really stuck with it and actually became halfway decent runner, and have been a runner my entire life because of that. And now I do triathlons. I switched to triathlons about 23 years ago or something. But it was all because of that experience in the very beginning, and such a good experience that it just changed my life into a complete athlete instead of just one that always wanted to be an athlete.
It If you could change a little bit about University of Michigan history as far as your experience, Karen, what would it be? Perhaps you could just briefly talk about what it was like when you were an athlete at U of M or trying to be an athlete at U of M.
It was pretty discouraging for me because I was pre-Title IX, and when I was at U of M, I actually played basketball, but it was still a club sport. I played volleyball, which was a varsity sport, and they eventually gave us a letter for volleyball, although it had to be smaller than the men's letter. And I continued running on my own with the Michigammes while I was in college. And in 1974, they had the first ever women's cross-country nationals, collegiate cross-country nationals. So I decided to go as a U of M runner. I went on my own. I traveled with the Michigan State team. And I had to go to the bookstore and buy my emblem of U of M seal, sewed it on my Michigamme uniform, because I had gone to the athletic director and they wouldn't give me any uniform to take. So I made my own, went, did very well, and came home, and nobody cared anything about it.
And she's an All-America, if you want to know the truth of it.
Yeah, by today's standards, I would be an All-American in cross-country, but they still don't recognize that either.
Let's hope they see the light.
Someday.